Good morning, and welcome to a very special edition of The Media Speaks Live. I'm your host today, David Lake. It's November 8th, 2014. Just wanted to say the date for Kyle so he knows what date it is, and Sam. I'm joined by Kyle Phillips of The Media Speaks, our resident expert on dystopian futures. Kyle, how's it going?
Wonderful, D-Lake. Thanks for having me on the show.
And do you know where this music is from?
I'm going to guess that it's from a movie from the 70s.
What movie?
It sounds Logan's Run-esque, but I don't think it is. Maybe Soylent Green? Am I close?
It's Metropolis.
Oh, Metropolis. Nice.
Kraftwerk's.
Good pull.
Kraftwerk. Sam, you know that group, Kraftwerk. Everyone welcome Sam I.B. DeGangi of the Correct Views and the band Passing Time.
Yes, if there wasn't a Kraftwerk, I mean, to a large extent, there would not be a Passing Time in much the same way that it is today. Very important. If you get a chance at some point, D-Like, may I request some of the strange music from one of my two favorites, which is not Dr. Strangelove, Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah. That has a great soundtrack, too. I didn't think of that one, but check this out, everyone. It's Metropolis.
Yes.
This movie with music by Kraftwerk.
Yeah, because obviously the original movie didn't have, like, trippy-ass music in it. They, like, redid this in the 80s, right?
Yeah, for sure. So everyone, I'm D-Lake for Prez, your host today on a very special, A Perfect Dystopia episode. Very special episode, themediaspeaks.com. D-Lake for Prez, joined again by Kyle Phillips of The Media Speaks. The Media is here on YouTube. Sam I.B. DeGangi, Correct Views on YouTube. Guys, great having you on the show this morning. Last week, our friend Don from Save America's Liberty said he didn't like the style anymore, and so he's out of here. So I'm trying to switch up the style of the show. Hopefully this is something he's more agreeable with. The questions and answers are open today. If you have anything you want to say, you want to join the conversation, we're going to get into A Perfect Dystopia. But
may I ask, at the beginning of the show, anybody in the comment line, I included Eraserhead, and one of the definitions, according to dictionary.com, is squalor and human misery. Let me know if you agree that Eraserhead is one of the best dystopian films ever. I include it wholeheartedly.
Okay, well, there you have it from Sam. He's going to argue that Eraserhead is a perfect dystopian film. We're going to get into that, but right now what's happening live on today's live show is Kyle is tweeting and Facebooking and post-bombing out that we are doing this show today about a perfect dystopian future. So in the next few minutes, we're going to just give time for more viewers to start piling in and clicking that link and coming in to join us and watch the show as we discuss a perfect dystopia. But while we wait for people to join and while Kyle's still bombing it out there, the fact that this is happening. How did you guys feel about this week's election results, Sam?
I think that the most I'm hoping for is that there are a lot of things that Obama did that the Republicans and the independents will undo. I don't have a lot of faith in the Republican Party. I've made that mistake with them before. And again, John McCain is going to be heading up the very department that wants to take us to war with ISIS.
And do you agree with, so are you saying you would agree with someone like Ron Paul, who says that a Republican sweep means boots on the ground immediately over there in the Middle East, and more Republicans equals more military-industrial complex war agenda, Sam?
Yes, and again, I'm not against us bringing aid to them. I'm not against us doing those kinds of things. I know a lot of people of our mindset tend to be like that. I'm not. I'm much more open to mildly getting involved there than most people are. But bringing a war hawk like John McCain into this, it just feels like Bush all over again. I'm just not in favor of him being the one to do this, and that's the direction the Republicans have already gone in. But maybe good things will happen, like Obamacare will be gotten rid of, and I can have my insurance back, because I used to be insured before Obamacare kicked in.
I should have had that article ready for what you just said there, Sam. This week, it was like 100% of the Republicans that won in that electoral sweep, they were all against Obamacare and for repealing it. They were all 100% for repealing Obamacare, but it's like the next day on Wednesday, it was like, yeah, we're all real glad we won. Hopefully we can repeal it, but that might not happen.
Well, what I've been saying to people too is that I've been talking to a lot of people who voted Republican this election. They're like, yeah, they're going to repeal Obamacare. This is great. And it's like, one, probably not. Two, if they do repeal Obamacare, great. Then what? Because like Obamacare didn't just come out of nowhere. There is a problem in our healthcare system.
Yes, there is. I was uninsured forever, and I'm uninsured thanks to him now. The problem existed before Obamacare, and the problem got worse with it. And you're right, that cannot be overstated. And that's why on this issue I often get a lot of flack from libertarians, because I was married to somebody who had Crohn's disease, and I know about how you can work every day and not have money for insurance, and I went bankrupt myself largely over medical bills. I wasn't out buying big screen TVs or anything. And that is a huge issue that I'm happy you mentioned, Kyle.
Yeah, and it has to do with the fact that there is government involved in healthcare. It has to do with the insurance system. It has to do with administrators. It has to do with a lot of things. The pharmaceutical industry. It's really fucked up that you can go see a doctor, get a prescription, get a cast, whatever you need, everything you need for like a tenth of the price in Mexico. Like that's fucked, and we need to fix that. Same thing. I mean, you can go to many other countries where if you pay out of pocket, it's much more cheap, less expensive. So what I've said to people is, Democrats have bad ideas, Republicans have no ideas. So what are you guys going to do? And I keep reminding, because I mean, I'm sure you guys are running into a lot of people who are very happy that the Republicans took back Congress, which is better, but it's still the lesser of two evils. And I keep reminding them, in 2 years when the federal elections come up, remember that nothing has changed and vote for a third party. Just remember this. Remember how excited you were for things to change, and in 2 years realize that they haven't, and now we can vote for third parties.
Yeah, and we need to stay on that message, I think, all the way for the next 2 years. We can't forget that.
Right. Yeah, and by the way, libertarians is amazing.
Like the midterm elections in 2020, like the midterm elections in 2010, it was a majority sweeping of the Tea Party, and so something had to be done about that. And then we got the Democrats, and then now because of the Democrats, we got the Republicans. And in a couple years, a lot of people are going to say because of the Republicans, now we got to elect a bunch of Democrats again. And I think a lot of people, the sentiment that I've been seeing in different Facebook posts and threads is, when is this two-party nonsense bullcrap going to end? Can we just take the R's and the D's off? Can we just say R and D is one frickin' party? And thank you. And can we also just admit that, we need to get a third-party candidate in there? I mean,
I'm telling people, if you
whatever happened to Ross Perot or someone of that caliber.
Yeah, or even fucking Jill Stein. I don't like Jill Stein. I don't agree with her on anything, but I'd rather see her on that stage than Hillary Clinton,
Okay, as we wrap up our section here on the headlines and the week in elections, who do you think were the big winners and the big losers? Was Hillary Clinton a big winner or a big loser, Sam?
Oh, I think I'm worried that this is going to set her up to do very well, because in 2 years people are going to see that the Republicans have drug us into this war and done this and that, and then people are going to be ready to vote Democrat, and then we're going to be screwed.
Isn't
Yeah.
it ridiculous how that works?
Did this midterm election that was sweepingly won by Republicans mean that in 2 years we're going to want Hillary Clinton? Kyle.
See, I hope, and I'm not hopeful, but I hope that people can finally see this fucking teeter-totter for what it is and realize that going back to the fucking old boss because you don't like the new boss isn't working anymore. And I think you're going to see, I don't think that you're going to see libertarians win the election, but I think that you're going to see an uptick. Like, this election, have you guys ever seen that many libertarians on a ballot? I don't know how it was where we're at, but about 80% of the races out here had a libertarian candidate, and throughout Illinois, they averaged about 3% of the vote, which isn't the 5 that we need, but really shows you something compared to, like, elections of past.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there, like, in Illinois, there were a lot of libertarian candidates, and a lot of them didn't do that bad. What's his name? Chad Grimm or whatever, the guy ran for governor. As a libertarian, got 3.5%. And if you took Cook County out of it, he got closer to 5 or 6%. Cook County just fucks up Illinois ballots. Every single county voted for Rauner except for Cook County. He won every county except for Cook County, and like the race was actually really close still. Which, if anybody out there doesn't know, really big deal going on in Illinois right now. Pat Quinn versus Bruce Rauner. Bruce Rauner won, not by much, surprisingly, but again, only because of Cook County. And Quinn fucking sucks, and Dick Durbin's still in office, that fucker. So he can tax your cigarettes more and make sure you're wearing your seatbelt like the good shill that he is.
Yeah. Okay, well, great guys. A lot of good points that were made there, discussing the week in the election news for the first 10 minutes or so, like we discussed. Now the viewers are pouring in. All right, everybody, don't forget that the Q&A is open, and you can join the conversation by clicking the link in the bottom corner. Now we are going to get into a perfect dystopia, today's special episode. If you'll allow me, gentlemen, to define dystopia right now.
Let's hear it.
In a world.
WALL-E. I guess WALL-E is a dystopian film. Kind of.
WALL-E is a dystopian future?
I mean, I guess it is, yeah.
Well, we're going to get into that. Here's the definition.
Waterworld.
Oh, wait, what the hell? You guys can't hear what I'm doing.
I can
I have
now.
my headphones on. Kyle, what is a dystopia?
It's debatable because a lot of dystopian movies there's a lot of different ways that you can go with it, but in general, it is a future that fucking sucks. Usually, government oppression, but occasionally it goes the other direction, which, like I Am Legend comes up on there and a few other movies, Book of Eli, but those really aren't dystopian. Those are apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic movies. For me,
yeah, but sometimes that can be the same. That's why I'm liking the definition that I'm seeing here. Oh no, I just lost it. So yeah, give me 1 second to call it back up again.
Yeah, I want to see what the different definitions of dystopia are, because to me, I would not call. Yeah,
Kyle,
go ahead.
Yeah, here's mine. Dystopia. In a world, a dystopia is in some community or society that is in some important way undesirable or frightening. It is literally translated as not good, bad place, synonymous with the opposite of utopia. Dystopias are often characterized by dehumanization, totalitarian governments, environmental disaster, or other characteristics associated with a cataclysmic decline in society.
I've got a society characterized by human misery, squalor, oppression, disease, and overcrowding. But yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, generally, I think that
I would include Hell Comes to Frogtown for you Roddy Piper fans.
I think that we should make a distinction, though, between, like, I'm hesitant to say, but, like, not a technocratic, but a government-controlled dystopia versus a post-apocalyptic dystopia, because those are like two different genres of dystopia, right? Like there's like the Planet of the Apes, there's the Book of Eli, Mad Max, but then there's like Logan's Run, 1984, anything George Orwell ever wrote.
Clockwork Orange.
All
I
right,
love
Kyle.
Clockwork Orange, as you can see by my logo switch.
Totally. Before we get into novels, let's discuss movies. I think today's generation is probably more familiar with that. According to Watch Mojo, everyone check out Watch Mojo's daily top 10s. Their top 10 dystopian futures. Kyle, number 10, Metropolis.
Okay.
That black and white movie that we watched a little bit of that, where society is divided.
I want to see it. I'd like to see it. I haven't seen that.
Society is divided by a class system where the rich elite live above ground and the poor slaves that work the machines live below. Number 9 on their list, Kyle, Sam, if you agree with a dystopian future, was Idiocracy.
Okay.
Idiocracy.
Yeah, you can give it to that. I thought that was going to be funnier than it was. It was overacted too much, but I liked the premise more than the movie. Some of the actors were just overdone, but yeah, I would include it.
I wouldn't.
What's the premise?
I'm going to take it back and say that I don't include that as a dystopian movie because the people in that movie weren't suffering. They weren't living under harsh conditions or harsh oppression. They were just dumb. There's a difference between dumb and oppressed, right?
Well, the future got progressively more stupid, where the main character was put into a time suspension machine, where he woke up 500 years later, where Fuddruckers turns into buttfuckers, and a wrestler is elected prez. I mean, how far away are we from that? They were spraying the crops with Gatorade, so you could say people weren't suffering, but it sounds like maybe they were. Number 8 on Watch Mojo's top 10 dystopian futures was Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where humans live out their lives in robotic forms of themselves or robotic forms of whoever they want to be, and they live in a virtual reality of living out that life. Like they sit comfortably in their mom's basement while their robot self basically goes out and lives the life they wish they were living.
What's it called?
It's called Surrogates. You haven't seen that?
No.
It was a decent flick. It was all right.
Okay. Number 7, I'm sure you guys both have seen Minority Report.
Yes. Well, I was going to mention that one, and now my thunder has been stolen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Give us the description for those who haven't seen it.
One of the best on the list so far.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's all about precog. The precogs can see the future, and they use that to tap into pre-crime, where you can be arrested for thinking about a crime before you ever commit it, because somehow they tap into like what you're going to do in a future that they see. And Tom Cruise is running around a lot on really cool-looking futuristic devices. And they mentioned that, I believe, like Surrogates, Minority Report happened in 2054. So, Kyle, another theme and thread that runs through these dystopian stories is that they happen in like 2054 or 2099 or like some kind of futuristic time.
Usually like either 20, 30, 50, or 100 years from the year the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that runs through a good amount of dystopian movies is thought crime, which is what Minority Report is really about, and is something that I think we first saw in 1984.
Good call. Number 6, which in the movie and the storyline occurs in 2019, is Blade Runner.
Yes.
Blade Runner's a good one, but I have to say that I did not very much enjoy the book it's based on, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. The movie, that's one of the few cases where the movie was better.
The movie was better than the book.
Yeah, which is rare. You know, usually it's always like the book is better. But yeah, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. I didn't like the writing style. It was hard to follow.
In general, I would say no one ever judge a book by its movie.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's an entire story about Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, how that actually started out as a really good movie, but then somebody's like, let's make it Dirty Dancing.
Okay, and let me switch back over here to screen share for number 5 on Watch Mojo's top 10 dystopian futures. The Hunger Games.
I still
Decent.
haven't seen it.
Really? I've seen all of them, and I read the last book.
And
They're good. I mean, I feel like a fucking 12-year-old girl saying it, but they're good movies. And the book, I only read the last one because it was like, I saw all the movies in theaters, and I'm like, I literally got out of the last movie, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I gotta know. So I read the last book, or listened to it on Audible. Where's my cha-ching?
oh, so you, there you go. So you have advanced knowledge of the upcoming movie. Is that correct?
I do. I know everything that's gonna happen. Because they made it into a part 1 and 2, but the book's just one book, so I know what's going to happen in both movies, which I almost regret because the movies do a really good job. Like, I saw the trailer for Hunger Games, and it looks like they followed the book to the fucking T. Like, it really does. Like, there's little things even in the trailer that I noticed that it's like, wow, that's, like, insane detail. So,
Well, Kyle,
yeah.
no, I know you love Jennifer Lawrence and probably the movie performances of. I haven't seen the movies either. I'm with Sam on that one, but they are on Netflix, and I do intend to check them out, especially after today's special episode talking about dystopian futures. Kyle, instead of speaking to Jennifer Lawrence's boobs or the fappening or anything like that, can you talk about the dystopian elements of the stories and the films?
Well, the basic plot of the Hunger Games, without trying to give away too many spoilers, is there was a war, something like, I think it's like 200 or 300 years before the movie takes place, where the people tried to overthrow the capital. They're essentially in a kingdom, and there is a king, and there's one city where all the rich people live, lavish lifestyles, eating food, wearing makeup. Like, the men are hyper feminized, like wear makeup. And the rest of the world is people just like living in poverty, shitty conditions, working 50 hours a week, like barely eating. And once a year, to remind them of like, hey, don't try to fucking overthrow us ever again, they take one boy and one girl, children from like each district, and they make them fight Battle Royale style, which I think was like a Japanese movie, where they all have to go into an essential arena, and only one of them gets to come out alive. And that's what the first movies are about. This next movie is going to be very, very different, so I recommend you guys get caught up before it comes out in like 2 weeks or whatever. And I don't like Jennifer Lawrence, by the way. That's been made abundantly clear on the show. I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence fan, but I still so that says something.
Sure, pal. Okay, number 4. Let me go back to hello. Thank you for joining us on the MediaSpeaks.com or on David Lake's channel. My cat licking herself back here. Everyone, just a reminder: the Q&A is open. If our plethora of viewers right now would like to ask anything about or interject anything, their thoughts about dystopian films, novels, anything like that. Number 4, according to Watch Mojo, Gattaca.
Gattaca's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
Gattaca takes place in a not too distant future, in a world where good DNA equals greatness, and the rest of the world is doomed to menial labor. Doomed!
I'm just gonna throw out. I
Guys,
see a trend.
Doomed!
I see a trend in this list, and if The Purge comes up, I can't take it seriously.
Number 3, Kyle, Fahrenheit 451.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off. That movie's horrible. I have it on DVD, so I can say that. That's
a dystopian future where novels are burned because reading books equals knowledge in the future, and the oppressive government, which is a common theme in dystopian films, they want to burn those books. It's all about book burning. Kyle, Fahrenheit 451.
The book is amazing. The book is in my top 10, but the movie was horseshit. It was. I'm sorry. The movie was like they took a really good book and they turned it into a pop movie in like the early 80s or late 70s. It really wasn't a good movie. Like, I'm sorry.
Like Animal Farm Animal Farm probably couldn't be made into a good movie, right?
I'm hoping that A Handmaid's Tale is in this. That was
A Handmaid's Tale's a good one for sure. The movie's all right. The book was much better. Which the audiobook, who was it? It was read by some celebrity. Like I read the audio or listened to the audiobook, and then it was like some like famous woman did it.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, you're listening to A Handmaid's Tale.
It's a hand. Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, guys, I've gone Metropolis, Idiocracy, Surrogates, Minority Report, Blade Runner, Hunger Games, Gattaca, Fahrenheit 451. There's only 2 left. Do you guys want to take guesses?
1984 for sure is going to be number 1. There's
Clockwork
no doubt in my
Orange.
mind. Clockwork Orange. It's either going to be for number 2. A Clockwork Orange is very possible. It could be Soylent Green. If it's The Island, I quit. I'm out of here. Not that it was a bad movie, but come on.
Kyle, I think you haven't said what you think would probably be your top pick. You have 2 guesses, Kyle. Go ahead. 2 guesses to guess the number 1 and number 2 on Watch Mojo's top 10 dystopian movies of all time.
Okay. I'm gonna take a leap of faith, and I'm gonna go number 1, 1984, number 2, Logan's Run.
Okay, and Sam, did you want to take 2 guesses? Samuel.
Oh, I agree with Pop. I'm gonna go Clockwork Orange and Eraserhead.
Sam, Sam, you're the only person that wants to see Eraserhead near the top 10. Do you have a logical guess what the Watch Mojo community would say was the number 1 and number 2?
Again, you could also, or Brave New World, but that's pushing it.
Yeah, but that was like a B movie. That was like a made-for-TV. Otherwise, I'd put it up there.
All right.
I'm picking David and what's his name? No, the other great one.
Did we both do that at the same time, Kyle?
No, I think that was just...
There was an echo in there. Anyways, number 2, Soylent Green.
Oh shit! I knew it. I should have gone with my first instinct.
Major themes of Soylent Green dystopian future are climate change and overpopulation, and they are eating a new formula thanks to the government's wonderful cooperation with Monsanto, a product called Soylent Green. And in case you missed it, Soylent Green is people.
Oh, spoilers! Spoilers of a Charlton Heston movie from the 70s.
My bad. Number 1, top number 1 movie, according to Watch Mojo, Logan's Run.
Really? They put Logan's Run at number 1?
That's cool. Yeah, I can support that all day long. Logan's Run.
It's a dope movie, but
you can't forget seaweed, plankton, things from the sea. I love the robot scene in that. Just love it.
Oh, yeah,
in a future utopia, which turns into a dystopia, again, dystopia being the opposite of utopia.
Dysfunctional utopia, yes.
Yeah, a dysfunctional utopia, bad place, not good, is the direct translation. In that future, in Logan's Run, utopia is run by a computer. Kind of like Ultron.
Technocracy, yeah.
Yeah. And at age 30, that is the year that you die, Kyle. Is that right, according to Logan's Run, Kyle?
Well, you can always be renewed on Carousel.
Yeah, you get renewed on Carousel, allegedly, where they just kill you. But yes, but I'm almost done reading the book, and in the book, the age was actually 21. They changed it to 30, which I actually thought made more sense. 21 is too young. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's not enough. Like, 21-year-olds aren't smart enough to think to run. I think they just kind of accept it. Like, I think 30 made it more interesting. I don't know if it was right or wrong.
Right. And who's the author of the original, the novel?
Fuck, I don't know. I forget.
I
It's
thought you
two
were on the
guys. It's
spot.
written by two people, but it's not like anyone you'd know, like Orwell or Orson Welles or
Uh,
whatever.
any idea on the year that it was written?
I want to say that it was written in the 70s, or no. I think it was written in the 60s, early 60s.
And the movie came out when?
I'm gonna go 1976. Am I right?
Okay. And I'm not sure, but I am sure about the next question. Do you know what year it was supposedly in the dystopian future or pseudo-utopian that turns dystopian? Like Sam said, it's when a utopia goes all wrong there. Where the utopia was run by a computer. Again, the death in the movie was age 30. What year did the movie take place? In that future, what year was it, Kyle? Do you know?
I want to say it's like close to like the year 3000. Is it like 2976?
It's 2274.
Ah. See, and that's the thing is they always go like an exact increment from when it was made. So the movie was made in 74.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah. So it's 200 years. It was probably 200-300 years in the future when it was made, something like that, right? But none of us on today's show are going to live to see that. So let's talk realistically about.
I do take a lot of vitamins.
Well, let's talk realistically, and you probably eat a lot of McDonald's too, or Wendy's, or Jack in the Box, or something horrible like that. But let's talk realistically. Are we in a dystopian society right now? Is it more of a utopia? I mean, I feel like I'm living pretty fabulous. I mean, for as much money as I make. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. My cat looks happy, right? My cats live in a utopia. But Kyle, can you address? Are we living in a dystopia right now? I mean, someone like Alex Jones says you can't write a perfect dystopian novel, Kyle, because you couldn't write anything more crazy than the dystopic present.
I think we absolutely do. If you look at the most important elements of all of the best writings and books and movies of dystopia, the most important elements, we have all of them already. And like Logan's Run, I think you hit the nail on the head, Anthony, when you said that you do live in like the lap of luxury. We all do, right? Like, I don't make a lot of money. I make like $20,000 a year. I'm a broke motherfucker, yet I sit here in front of a fancy microphone, 2 laptops, I have a 32-inch flat screen TV, I have a house, and it's very similar to like Logan's Run, right? Like in Logan's Run, they live in essentially like a pleasure dome where they have everything they'd ever want. You just dial up a number on a little box in your room, and a chick teleports in to suck your dick, and like we have all of these luxuries. But look at the other side of it. You can be arrested for a Facebook post. Like, we're engaged in endless wars overseas. Our individual freedoms are constantly being revoked. You get molested at the airport if you want to leave the country. They've even been talking about a while not letting you leave the country if you owe the IRS money. And then there's the IRS itself. The low wages, which keep people from really moving around too much or getting out of their comfort zone. It's like we do live in an age of luxury as long as you fit the government mold, as long as you act how they want you to act, and as long as you get on fucking carousel when you turn 30.
Kyle, how often are large corporations working in tandem with government the quote-unquote bad guys in these dystopian futuristic movies and stories and like that sort of thing? I mean, how often is that the case?
See, I'm glad that you brought that up because my problem with dystopian movies and books is that there's always a slant. There's always a slant. They're either conservative or liberal. They're either to the extreme fascists or socialists. Like people like Jack London has written a lot of books. He wrote Into the Wild, but he also wrote a book called fuck, I don't even remember the name. I've listened to so many, but a lot of the guys, Jack London is the biggest one. He writes it from the point of view that, you know, individual want and desire, individual need, people being greedy. This is what brought about the utopia that led to a few being in power over the many because they had the resources, and that we need to go back to a communal type life and blah blah blah. But then you go the other direction, more of the like 1984 type, which is that the government is the problem, and the more that we give control of government, and that saying that we shouldn't live lives as individuals and we shouldn't be free to do as much as we can with what we have, that the government that saying we is essentially saying the government giving power to somebody else. So you have the socialist right side and the fascist side, but what we have in our true dystopia is the combination of both. Like everybody in politics, like you have to be bipartisan, you have to meet in the middle and make compromises. But when we're making compromises, when we're making compromises between the Democrat Party, which is socialist, let's be real, and the Republican Party, which is fascist, what do we get in the middle? We get social fascism. We shouldn't meet in the middle. We should meet like way above or below.
That's so brilliant, Kyle.
Well, it's like the fucking what's the test that tells you where you fall. We've talked about it on the show before, where you answer the multiple questions. It tells you if you're more conservative, liberal, socialist, or libertarian.
The Nolan chart.
The Nolan chart, like on the Nolan chart, we should by no means meet directly in the middle between Republicans and Democrats. We should meet honestly.
That's a centrist.
Yeah, I mean honestly, we should meet all the way at the top or all the way at the fucking bottom. And I'm more of the opinion, obviously, as a libertarian, that we should meet at the top. But what we have right now is social fascism.
Well, yeah. Where does the best dystopian future land on the Nolan chart? It's probably in like the bottom left, where it's like Nazi. Oh, where direct center?
I think direct center is the movies and the books never do it, but where the perfect dystopia has landed us is directly in the center. When it comes to movies and books, yeah, it's either all the way to the left, or like left to lower socialism, or all the way to the right with fascism.
But I would also pick a lot due to the brainwashing and the fair witness. The book "Stranger in a Strange Land." I wanted to toss that out there for anybody that's seen it. Make sure you leave a message.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Tell us about it, Sam.
There's a person from Mars that comes to Earth, and then on Earth they've got these people called fair witnesses. And without giving it away, like you'll see a house, and you'll say, well, what color is the house? Well, most people would say, oh, that house over there is red. Fair witnesses can't do that, or they will lose their title. They won't. It's a government agency. You can say the side of the house that is facing us is red, and everything is seen through the eyes of these fair witnesses trying to prove or disprove the Martian. It's very weird, but sounds
kind of like the precogs in Minority Report, something like that, right?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Is that a book or a movie?
Also, Dark City. I would so include the movie Dark City. It is the most underrated movie. It's somewhat science fiction, but I think, like Kyle said, things branch over a lot. It is always night, and I don't want to say why, but no matter what time you get up, it is always night. It's called Dark City, and the powers that be have a say in it. That's all. I don't want to give any more than that away, but Dark City is greatly underrated.
There is a fine line between dystopian and post-apocalyptic. A movie like The Road, I would say The Book of Eli, Waterworld, Mad Max. Those are more post-apocalyptic. It's like after some really bad shit happened, here's what happened. Dystopia, and actually our friend Lucian defined, I said, what's the basic distinction between dystopian and post-apocalyptic? He said dystopic equals society, and post-apocalyptic equals no society.
Yes, I would say that's a great way of putting it.
Do you agree with that, Kyle?
I would agree with that completely, because post-apocalyptic is like life sucks because there's nothing. Dystopian is like life sucks because I'm being oppressed by whether it be government or, and that's the interesting thing is even in the books and movies that say fascism is the great evil, fascism always turns into socialist government. So you always end up getting social dystopia no matter what, and government is really the one factor I think that makes it a dystopia is government and being controlled.
Well, Kyle, if you'll allow me to put you on the spot, can you give me your top 5 dystopic, futuristic novels and or movies, just stories in general, top 5?
It's
What
tough.
do you think?
I'm gonna.
I mean, you could throw 5 out there and then maybe categorize.
Yeah, no. Can I give no specific order?
In no specific order, give me 5.
Or
maybe let me put it to you like this, just to ease the pressure. 5 dystopic novels and or movies that you would recommend to people to get a full sense of exactly what you think are examples of really good writing and storytelling. Go.
Okay. A Brave New World, 1984, Fahrenheit 451.
The story.
The book, not the movie. I mean, you can watch the movie if you want, but I mean, all of these I think so far. All of these are books, but there's movies as well. Either one. I know a lot of people don't have the time to read like a million books, so the movies are generally good, except for Fahrenheit 451. Okay. Animal Farm is a great quick read. I mean, you can read Animal Farm in a few hours. It's only something like 70 pages. It's really short.
That's Orwell, right?
Yeah, that's George Orwell.
George Orwell.
One more. I want to make it a good one.
Logan's Run #1 on Watch Mojo. Did you agree with that?
It's good, but I want to put it #1. I put it up there, but
is it in your top 5 or what's your last one, number 5?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll go with Logan's Run. I'm tempted with Soylent Green, but Soylent Green, like I'd hate to see somebody go watch Soylent Green or read the book Make Room, which it's based on, and turn into like an Al Gore type because of it, and me be responsible. Because you could come away from it that way.
Kyle,
I mean, it's about overpopulation and birth control and shit. So.
Yeah. Kyle, do you think that RoboCop was dystopic?
Oh, for sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. RoboCop's a good one too.
Can you talk a little?
Yeah, very.
I mean, some of the elements like of Logan's Run, the perfect utopia run by a computer, RoboCop that I just mentioned, where futuristic men are merged with machines. Kyle, can you speak a little bit to the technocratic elite and their plans to merge man with machine in a transhumanist agenda? Can you speak to that?
We're all Kurzweil keyboards in the future. That's what we all turn into, making wonderful music. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's
and Kurzweil plays us like a harp, or what the hell?
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, I mean,
angels don't play this harp.
There's differing opinions on it, really, because the one side will tell you that as technology advances, we're eventually going to merge with the machines, we're going to lose our humanity and fucking turn into monsters, blah, 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 and that the poor won't get access to this technology, only the rich, only the Ray Kurzweils will live to forever, while we are stuck in our fleshy human bodies as slave chickens to the underworld of the bio-utopia thing. But
okay, so sorry, Kyle, I'm going to cut you off. You're really going strong on this one. This is a great episode today. But Sam, would you consider Terminator a dystopian future? Sam. What about Skynet?
I haven't seen Skynet. If you have a broad tent, you could include Terminator. I definitely could see why that would be included, only because of the robots taking over everything. I could see that.
I definitely say it is. It's a technocracy. It's the same as like It's the same as Logan's Run in that in the end it's a society ruled by machines and ruled by a computer. The difference is it has the goal of total elimination. I'd call it a dystopia.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that I think that Kyle really is a lot like James Cameron, probably even better. I mean, probably smarter in his younger age. Like Kyle at his age now is probably smarter and more inclined to creative genius than James Cameron was at Kyle's age. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
I've just read a lot of fucking dystopian books. I've read way too many. I literally could not name them off for you. There's so fucking many.
I used to read all of the time, and then I started the correct views, and now I never get to read anything that's not an article anymore.
I listen to audiobooks at work. Not that that's okay. But yeah, I just listen to audiobooks.
That counts.
I'm with both of you guys because it wasn't that long ago that I was feeling exactly the way that Sam is. Like, I've been so busy doing videos and this other stuff that I haven't been reading it as much as I should or could, or as much as I used to.
Yeah, but, I cheat. I do it at work.
But Kyle has actually inspired me to cheat more and do more audio booking, which I find really great, fascinating, marvelous, and wonderful. And
I recommend everybody check out LibriVox. I think it's like LibriVox.org. If you type it in Google, you'll find it. Mm-hmm. They're an organization that what they do is anytime that a book hits the public domain, they grab it up, they put it out there for free, and volunteers read it and turn it into an audiobook. So you can find, they literally have thousands and thousands of books. I mean, the newest thing you're going to find is written in like 1940. But, I mean, hey, 1984 was written in 1894, right? So.
Well, I'm going to get real nerdy for a minute. For anyone that is enjoying RPGs of any kind, the role-playing game.
Role-playing games.
The Masquerade is a world where everything you do in the world is dictated by undead supernatural creatures that run the world. And I would say, in terms of it's one of those rare games that would come to mind that would be dystopian minded. If anybody ever gets a chance to look at the Masquerade.
Samuel, you actually had some awesome science news for today that was actually parallel with our conversation about dystopian.
Yes, I did.
And dystopian futures and stories and all that. And Kyle, can you pump up Sam's Science News theme song?
Oh, my music.
It's time to learn some science. So hit Sam with the science front.
Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to News from the Science Front. This was posted on Mercola. Genetics research, a largely failed science now used for social control. Perfect for our little dystopian show here. I've previously written about how your environment and lifestyle, it says, particularly your diet, has a direct influence on your genetic expression. For example, research using identical twins have shown that diet trumps genes in terms of the level of the overall health one achieves. The science of epigenetics also challenges the controversial view of genetics, proving that the environment determines which traits a gene will express, and that your fate is in no way written in stone, even if you have genetic predispositions. In other words, you're not just going to get cancer because your parents got cancer. That's a lie. It can make you more susceptible, but it's not a direct link like they're trying to say it is these days. Findings such as these offer tremendous amounts of hope for every single one of us, as it removes us from the positions of victims of our heredity and makes us masters of our health and well-being. Alas, as expressed in the featured article by Jonathan Latham, Ph.D., it has now become increasingly clear that there's collusion going on between our government, industry, and scientists to hide the fact that everything from human health to intellectual capacity to various addictions are indeed caused by the environment in which we find ourselves. Latham starts off by discussing a truly blatant example of this type of manufactured PR. A recent study found that 98% of all variation in educational attainment, whether you complete high school or college, is accounted for by factors other than genetic makeup. and implies that most of the student's success is a consequence of potentially alterable social or environmental factors. In other words, the way they're raised, what they're eating, what's being brought around them, not what they were born with in terms of a capacity. This is an important and perhaps supervising observation, high interest to parents, teachers, and policymakers alike, but it didn't make the headlines. The only reason is that the authors of the study failed to mention that 98% figure in the title or the summary, nor is it mentioned in the accompanying press release. Instead, their discussion and interest focused almost entirely on a different aspect of the finding, that 3 gene variants contribute to 0.02%. That's 1 part in 5,000 to variation of educational attainment. It's almost like they tried to hide exactly what they've got here. It says, my girlfriend smokes like a chimney. From the moment she gets out of bed, she must smoke. The tobacco industry has pioneered behavioral genetics. The idea that even addiction to cigarettes was a generic phenomenon, or that a characteristic of the cigarettes or tobacco originated from the tobacco industry. The consistent aim being promoting genetics, according to the memo written by Fred R. Panzer, the vice president of public relations for the Tobacco Institute, and he was in charge of the attention from the product to the person. In other words, claiming that you have a predisposition to this. So, you know, it's not your fault that you're smoking cigarettes. You were born for that to happen. That has been proven by this study to be absolute hogwash. It's not true at all. And it says there appears to be a case in medical science where the majority of research is funded by the very companies and industries that stand to gain from the particular result. Publication bias, it's called. It's the practice of selectively publishing trial results that serve an agenda, along with an outright scientific fraud, and it has become a cancer at the core evidence of evidence-based medicine. And I definitely wanted to get to that. There's 2 of them on this show, but I thought that fit in well because it's the, oh, well, don't worry, just keep using our products because you can't help it argument. What do you guys think?
Well, let me ask Kyle. Kyle, do you think that cigarettes and large cola beverages play a part in a dystopian future?
Yeah, I think honestly more so lottery and gambling addiction.
Lottery and gambling too.
Definitely, and that's specifically mentioned in 1984. But definitely, and I'm guilty of it. I'll be the first to admit it. I drink a lot of pop and I smoke cigarettes, and I think it definitely does. Like sugar.
What about internet porn? Is internet porn part of a dystopic future?
Only if it's got whips and chains in it.
Whips and chains? Okay, that defines it.
Right.
Kyle, please continue your thoughts there. It sounded like you had more.
No, I definitely think it does, though, and I mean, you can see, as unhealthy as I am, like, sure, I smoke cigarettes and I drink Mountain Dew and coffee and shit, and I know I shouldn't drink Mountain Dew. Don't send me links about HEK294. I fucking know, okay? But I know I shouldn't do that, but I see how people from the inner city eat, and it really, really makes me worried. When I worked in DeKalb, which I've talked about before, there were a lot of people who were directly from bad parts of the inner city. Like, the cops used to make jokes out there. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Cabrini Green. It was like the worst fucking part of the ghetto in Chicago, and they got rid of it and turned it into a Target. Cabrini Green got separated off the suburbs, and a lot of them ended up in DeKalb. And I would see how these people ate, and I could tell you, based on how they were dressed, how they carried themselves, what they were going to buy before they came in the store. And I could do this with like 90% accuracy. They don't go to the grocery store because in Cabrini Green and in the ghetto, there are no grocery stores. So they don't eat well. They don't eat fresh food. They're even like put off by anything that doesn't come in a sealed package because they've been conditioned to think that if it's not in a sealed package, it's not safe. So they don't want fresh produce. They think it's gross. So they come into the store, and this is because of food deserts in the ghetto. There aren't grocery stores. There's fucking convenience stores. So they come in, and they buy Big things like Brisk and Arizona iced tea, which are all high fructose corn syrup and artificial flavorings.
Candy,
Honey
big
buns,
drinks.
like flaming hot Cheetos, like all stuff that like is really, really fucking bad for you. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't eat Cheetos sometimes or I don't eat bad things, but the difference is that I also eat good things. I'll eat myself some kale. I'll eat myself some fruit, some vegetables, but I know that they're not doing that because they've been conditioned to think that's not food, that's not sanitary if it doesn't come in a package. And that like was always kind of really scary to me. And these are the same people who come in and spend their entire paycheck on lotto, which again, read 1984, they specifically mention lottery as a way to steal money from the poor.
So this is all keeping in line with the dystopian talk that we've been talking about. I mean, Sam and Kyle, Sam, if you could go first. Do you guys think that EBT, SNAP, welfare, even food stamps, do you think that plays a role in our sort of American society driving over a cliff towards a dystopian future? Do you guys think that government-funded food is moving towards dystopia?
It could be a step in that direction. Very, very obvious. You control the food, you can do just about anything.
Kyle, do you think that some people think that they're living in a utopia, the opposite of dystopia? They're living in a utopia where they can just come to the United States and get as much free food as they want. Isn't that utopia for some people?
Absolutely. That's the problem that most dystopian books and movies show is the ignorant masses, right? And as long as they have a roof over their head and food in their belly, people don't revolt. That's a historical fact. If you have a roof over your head and food in your belly, you don't take to the streets. So that's what they focus on. And you could say, from the government's perspective, while they're helping people, they're taking care of people, but they're creating a dependent class that knows nothing other than dependency.
Yes.
And as long as they're fed, and as long as they have a roof over their head, those motherfuckers aren't taken to the street. It's as simple as that, and they know that, and I think it's done intentionally. Because,
Kyle,
I mean, you look... Yeah.
Do you think that the best dystopian stories have someone that uprises against it and proves it to be a bunch of hogwash, or do you like it when it ends with no hope, and because that's the point of a dystopia?
I think that when it ends with no hope, it's...
1984, there was no hero flying off at the end of 1984, Kyle.
It's more realistic. I mean...
guys, I've got one more for everybody. I'm going to go real quick through these. This is from .aunews.yahoo. 9 real technologies that will soon be inside of you.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear this.
Perfect. Some of these could be utopian. Some of these could be dystopian. Some of them, it's like the food. It depends how it's used. 1, implantable smartphones. Christelle would love this. Personally, I call it dystopian. Sure, we're virtually connected to our phones 24/7 now. But what if we were actually connected to our phones? That's already starting to happen.
Wait, can we do, Sam, as you read these, can we discuss in between whether it's dystopian or utopian?
You know what? You read my mind. It feels very science fiction-y around here.
All right.
Last year, for instance, artist Anthony Antonellis had an RFID chip embedded in his arm that could store and transfer art to his handheld smartphone. He couldn't get up. Researchers are experimenting with embedded sensors that turn human bone into living speakers. Other scientists are now working on eye implants that could let an image be captured with the blink and transmitted to a local storage, such as arm-borne RFID chip. But what takes place on the screen in the phone inside of you? Techs at Autodesk are experimenting with a system that can display images through artificial skin, or the images may appear as eye implants. There won't even be a way to take my phone off my girlfriend.
No, yeah, that's horribly dystopian because, and Sam, I think that you can probably relate to me on this. Me and my girlfriend.
When that comes out, I'm leaving.
we'll be watching a movie, and I'll look over, and she's on the phone, and I'll literally put out my hand. She gives me the phone, and I put it on the table. Like,
yes.
The other day, no joke, Jim Beam came out with this new, like, spicy, it's kind of like Fireball, right? And I poured a shot of it, and I tasted it, and I go, that's pretty good. It's like Fireball, but it's not quite as spicy. And then I put the shot glass down, and not 10 seconds later, my girlfriend looks at me and goes, "What'd you think of it?" And I'm like, "Give me the fucking phone. Give me the phone."
That one makes sound a dystopian for everyone else except maybe blind people and deaf people. It might be utopia to them.
Yeah, and by the way, I haven't had a phone in over a year. I haven't had a phone since, like, when you guys came out. How long has that been?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years I haven't had a cell phone.
You haven't had a cell phone in 2 years? See, I'm very proud of you. I have one, but I don't use it like most people do. I use it when I need directions. I use it at work because I'm on the second floor and girls will text me their requests. But otherwise, no. I'm proud of you. 2 years without a cell phone. You're free
I
at
have
last.
the device, but honestly, the only thing I use it for is listening to audiobooks. Aside from that, when me and my girlfriend go out, I don't even fucking bring it. It doesn't have cellular service. There's no minutes, nothing on it. The only thing I use it for is to listen to audiobooks. I use it as an MP3 player.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's liberating.
Some of this stuff with the turning your inner ear into a microphone, that's going to be really helpful in people that are having trouble hearing. It might cure certain things like what Rush Limbaugh had. Anything that's not mandatory, according to most interpretations of the Bible, are not the mark of the beast, but that doesn't make it any less dystopian. All right, you ready, guys? Here we go. This could be utopian, but again, what if they're rationed out? What if you can't get them? What if you're stealing them out of other people's bodies?
The technology isn't responsible for that, though, right?
We're talking about healing chips, yes.
Oh, fuck
right now, patients are using cyber implants that tie directly into smartphone apps to monitor and treat diseases. The new bionic pancreas, another pancreas is called diabetes. The new bionic pancreas being tested by America's Boston University, for instance, has a tiny sensor on an implantable needle that talks directly to a smartphone app to monitor blood sugar levels for diabetics. Scientists in London are developing swallowable capsule-sized circuits that monitor fat levels in obese patients and generate genetic material that makes them feel full. That would be good. I would take the chip on that one. I'm sorry. It has potential as an alternative to current surgery or other invasive ways to handle gross obesity. Dozens of other medical issues, from heart murmurs to anxiety, have implant phone initiatives underway. Now, you're going to have 14-year-old girls trying to be supermodels taking the full chip all the time. But in a nutshell, what do you guys think?
My girlfriend already kind of has this. She has this wristband that she has two things. She has a thing that when she exercises, it goes on her chest. It's like a strap, and it monitors like her heart rate and blood pressure and shit, and it sends all that information to her phone and tells her like how many calories she burned and stuff like that. And she just got a new one. It's a wristband, and it's got little 5 lights on it that like tell you how far you are and stuff. And I don't know, it tells her stuff, and it it tells her how many steps that she's walked during the day. It tells her like what her heart rate is. It tells her like a ton of different information, and even she can wear it while she sleeps, and it tells her how much time she actually was in deep sleep and whether she was restless during the night, and like a ton of information. It sends it all to her phone, and she reads it in the morning.
Now, see, that could be helpful for sleep apnea patients too, especially if they're borderline.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Like literally, like she's too attached to the phone. I gotta get. The other day we were going to like somebody's house, and they texted her the address, and when she went to Google Maps on her iPhone, it automatically knew that that was the address that she was about to search for. And she's like, all right, this is getting creepy.
I must say, now that we're talking about phones, I did it with before-mentioned Clockwork Andy Razorhead. I did it with a few other movies. If you are going to watch a dystopian film, you remove the cell phone from your girlfriend. You make her go to the bathroom beforehand. You turn the lights out, and if she gets up, you put in the notebook. You just shut it off, and I found that this works. Because especially on things that change so quick like that, if somebody has a cell phone, anybody really, all jokes aside, if you have a cell phone during 1984, you're going to talk about how 1984 sucked. If you have your cell phone out, I would even argue 12 Monkeys could be dystopian because of the way that the virus broke out and they kept sending him back in time. If you're using your cell phone during 12 Monkeys, you're going to say, it didn't make any sense, it was a jumbled mess, because you didn't watch it. My dad, God rest his soul, tried to watch both Fight Club and 12 Monkeys while doing the bills, and has told me during both movies that the movies were jumbled messes that didn't make any sense. You cannot do bills, not do your cell phone during Fight Club or 12 Monkeys.
No, you can't. You need to put all that shit down and you need to watch the movie. You can do your bills when you're watching a movie you've seen 5 times. When you're watching Return of the Jedi, that's when you do your bills.
Okay, yeah, a movie that you've seen plenty of times, not the first time that you're trying to watch it and absorb it. Okay, great point on that. But I was gonna say that
yes,
just to that last point, that turning off your computer like all the way, turning off your phone, all that stuff in the room where you sleep is gonna be better for your sleep. Okay,
yes. And do you guys find yourself doing this? For one thing, I can almost never shut my computer off because I use it as my entertainment center, and I'm always uploading videos to the show. Like Monday, it's tied up. Wednesday, it's tied up. It's always so.
Sam's the only person who uploads more hours of footage than there are in a day. Like in one day, Sam will upload 25 hours worth of correct views. I don't know how he does it.
Well, I was just going to say that I used to go to sleep, with my iPhone near my head because it was playing an audio podcast that helped me fall asleep. But I stopped doing that because I'm like, it's probably not a good idea. Yeah, probably, because I'm like, it's not really a good idea to play the cell phone when you go to sleep and stuff. And Kyle, you're like, yeah, my girlfriend's got a new wristwatch that she sleeps with. I'm like, that's probably not a good idea.
Probably not.
They do say you're supposed to keep cell phones and the Obama bulbs both away from the human head, is the way it was worded. As in, like, the inhuman head is an option, but that's how it's worded.
Keep it on my dog's head.
Yeah, a dead
corpse. There we go. 3, cyber pills that talk to your doctor. Implantables won't communicate with your iPhone. They will chat up with doctors. Chat up? Isn't chat up? Oh, never mind. And a project named Proteus, in a dystopian future, your pills will flirt with your doctor. Yeah. In a project named Proteus, after an easy body navigating vessel in the film Fantastic Voyage, the British research team is developing cyber pills with microprocessors in them that can text doctors directly from inside your body. Now, you might laugh at this, but if you're like my friend Ken, who has beaten both brain and lung cancer, or my friend Glenn, who's beat cancer twice, a heart attack, and a stroke, not knowing if your cancers come back or if that clot is bad, and this could be huge. This could be an absolute game changer, like the finding of penicillin. This could be really big, or it could be a real nightmare for every reason that everyone watching this is already going, yes, but. Last paragraph on it. The pills can share literally inside info, nice wording, to help doctors know if you are taking your medication properly and if it is having the desired effect. Now, that to me right there is the one that as soon as I read it, guys, it was like nerd hard on. It was everything that somebody like me just dies to see. It's that novel with the happy. It's the dystopian film with the happy ending that D. Lake was talking about.
Prozac, Sam. Take your Prozac, Sam.
Now, see, that's the direction we don't want it going in.
That's a 50-50 for me. It depends because, like, on one side it could save a lot of lives. On the other, doctors are asking whether you have a gun. Like, the things that, like, the medical industry are doing, it's like, I don't trust them anymore. But that does have, like, potential.
What if you had a natural path doctor? Imagine even, let's say you had cancer. And I'll do it this way. When I had vertigo, I didn't know what it was. I thought it might be something terrible. Thank God it wasn't. I had told my girlfriend that before I went on insulin and everything, I wanted 6-9 months or so to do this the natural pathway. Now, if a natural path, and that's a, for those of you that don't know, they usually give you herbs and things like that and solve your problems organically before they go to medicine. Not all natural paths are against medicine. Most of them actually are fine with it if there's no other alternative. So you try one of these experimental things, but you don't know if it's going to work. Let's face it, the natural path community steered Steve Jobs wrong. He might have lived if he'd have went with some chemo. You can go too far in the other direction. This would also let you know if your naturopathic cures were working. I'm liking this idea.
That's true. Take your SSRI, Sam.
Take your SSRI. What do you think? Like?
I go 50-50. It could be good and bad.
Sam.
All right, now because of the name on this, it's automatically going to go bad. So I want to leave the name off when I first read it, because if you're against birth control, then you're automatically not going to like this. But if you're not against birth control, you're going to like it as long as I don't say the name. Implantable birth control.
We already have that.
4. Bill Gates implantable birth control. The Gates Foundation is supporting an MIT project to create an implantable female contraceptive controlled by an external remote control. The tiny chip generates small amounts of contraceptive hormone from within the woman's body for up to 16 years. Implantation is no more invasive than a tattoo, and the ability to turn the device on and off provides a certain convenience factor for those who want to plan their family, says Dr. Gives losing the remote control a whole new meaning, it says. But see, I like this because I think, again, I don't like that Gates is doing it, because then you begin to wonder, but it's birth control that isn't giving you cancer. It's birth control that isn't giving you osteopenia or bone diseases. And, I mean, you always hear family planning. It's not family planning if you take the shot and then you can't get pregnant for a year afterwards. This is family planning. It could be shut off that night. You're not getting hormones when you don't want them. If you do believe in birth control. If you don't, then we'll go on to the next topic. But what do you guys think?
How you've had like a lot of issues with computers. What operating system were they all running?
Well, no, again, that's what I said. But you got to remember, Bill Gates isn't going to be the only one making these. I would not want
You're
the
not
Bill
the only
Gates
one making Microsoft Windows. You want to have the same issues you've had with your computers inside of your wife or girlfriend's vagina?
Well, look at it this way. What kind of problems are you having in there with the birth control that's already being taken?
We've had none. No problems with birth control in this household. She works great.
Costell loves it. But the other thing is my ex Daphne has osteopenia issues today due to Depo-Provera. It messed up her bones. So I'm liking this in many, many ways. Again, yeah. I'm afraid with anything with the Gates name on it, so I needed to factor out discussing Bill Gates, because we've already done that, and discussing whether or not it's moral to use birth control. Beyond those two topics, what do you guys think?
I just want to say that Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is synonymous with Planned Parenthood, and I'm not a big fan of the IUD.
But again, Planned Parenthood also does good. I have had girls go there for girly issues that do not involve anything with your hygiene or your pregnancy, just girly things that nobody hearing this wants to hear about. And you know what? They help you when nobody else will. They're not all bad. The problem is their founder was bad, which is the same problem that Microsoft has.
We really need to rename Planned Parenthood, though, and call it what it is, which is like planned not being a parent. Like, it's not like Planned Parenthood would be if you go in and they're like, well.
But see, as somebody that's had experience with them, when my ex and I were trying to have kids, Planned Parenthood was actually helpful because she still has never gotten pregnant. It's either I'm shooting blanks or she has no receivers on. She had no receivers on the field. I don't know which one. But when we were trying to have kids, they were very helpful on how to get pregnant. So having been on both sides of it, yes, I know they're abortion worshipers. I understand that. And again, I don't want to get into an abortion debate. But that's not all they do. And I have been on the other side of them being helpful. So they are a double-edged sword, to say the least.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I will say, anybody, I'm sorry, I'll be blunt about it. I'll be Bill Maher, but anybody who thinks that there's a moral problem with birth control is just fucking retarded. Like, you're not killing anything. You're not even killing a cluster of living cells or anything. You're stopping that cluster of living cells from ever being created in the first place. Like, it's putting up a net. It's good for society, it's good for planning, it's good for keeping crime down. It has a direct correspondence. There's a direct link between birth control and crime rates going down over the past 30 years. So fuck off, birth control rocks.
I don't want to put words in Kyle's mouth, but for new watchers.
I will.
For new watchers, again, when we talk about good for society and birth control, we don't mean that there's too many people in the world. We mean that there is a very bad system in place for the people that we have.
No, we're not overpopulated, but we're overpopulated with fucking children who shouldn't be having children. Yes. You know, like we have too many kids raised by people who had no business having kids.
All right, guys, are you ready for the next one?
Wait, do you have something to say?
Oh, yes. Do you like? Last topic?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say Kyle's a big fan of the withdrawal method. Anyways, Sam, go ahead.
Oh, also, there's another system that I've been using for a while now, cum in the butt. Nobody's ever gotten pregnant from a cum in the butt.
The cum in the butt birth control system does work very well. It does. I agree. It'll give you... Well, there goes an R rating on our show. 5 smart tattoos. I tuned in for science and I got potty humor. Smart tattoos. Tattoos are hip and seemingly ubiquitous. Showing mine. So why not smart? Digital tattoos that not only look cool but can also perform useful tasks like unlocking your car or entering mobile codes with a finger point. That's going to get your arm cut off. Researchers at the University of Illinois have crafted an implantable skin mesh of computer fibers thinner than a human hair that can monitor your body's inner workings on the surface. To me, it's somebody with too much money on their hands. I'm not against it. It just seems like overkill. A company called Dangerous Things has an NFC chip that can be embedded into the finger through a tattoo-like process, letting you unlock things and enter codes by simply pointing. A Texas research group has developed microparticles that can be injected under the skin in tattoo ink and can track body processes. All of these are much wiser choices than the name soon-to-be X. It's over. It's a waste of money to me. What do you guys think?
It seems like a waste of money, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. That sounds pretty dope. Imagine having a wristwatch tattoo that always has the correct time.
Wait a minute. What if you could shut the birth control off with your finger?
Ooh. Like, oh, that's trickery, though.
And you'd have a pill to let you know if it worked, and so would your doctor.
I just, my only input is it sounds nothing like the mark of the beast.
No, it's voluntary. It's not mark of the beast. We're good there.
It's voluntary? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, see, a ton of people like wanting what I want, like the wristwatch, the permanent wristwatch.
But you gotta watch out. D-Like has a very good point there. If they start making you have this done in order to get to your bank account, now you need it to buy and sell. Now it is mark of the beast. So yeah, D-Like has a good point. It's not, but it's a baby step away.
It's
I had
part of the biometric technocratic dystopia.
One step away. It's a baby step, D-Like. Good. Applause for D-Like.
Could I get a digital tattoo over my entire face, and if like people are looking at me, I can change it to like John Travolta's face, or I could give myself synthetic tattoo facial hair since I'm not good at growing mustaches?
I mean, that's like Face Off, Kyle. I mean, if we could potentially in a dystopian future biometrically exchange faces, like, Nick Cage, and John Travolta in Face Off.
For those of you listening, what's strange about this is that this article was dated October 19th. I didn't even know we were doing a dystopian story until today. That's just the way our heads normally work here at the Media Speaks. Number 6, brain-computer interface.
Osmosis. It's osmosis.
Brain-computer interface. Having the human brain linked directly to computers is the dream or nightmare of sci-fi. But now, a team at Brown University called BrainGate is at the forefront of the real-world movement to link human brains directly to computers for a host of uses. Yeah, I bet. As the BrainGate website says, using a baby aspirin-sized array of electrodes implanted into the brain, early research from BrainGate team has shown that the neural signals can be decoded by a computer in real time and used to operate external devices. Pause. This could be very useful for people who are locked in. That means they can't. They're fully aware of the fact that they can't move, can't eat, can't do anything. They're locked in. They live that way. So there are useful things here. Everybody's skin is going to cringe from thinking about how this can be abused. I do want to point out that it could be helpful. Chipmaker Intel predicts practical computer brain interfaces by 2020. Intel scientist Dean Pomerleau said in a recent article, eventually people may be willing to be more committed to brain implants. Imagine being able to surf the web with the power of your thoughts. See, that worries me there. If you're locked in, or you something horrible, or you're paralyzed, whatever, I can get it. But using it just for the hell of it seems to me it's going to be real dangerous, especially in a world where you have viruses and whatnot. And I mean computer viruses. What do you guys say?
De Niro in Awakenings, Sam, right here on my screen share. Robert De Niro, Awakenings.
That was a great movie.
He was essentially trapped in his own body.
Yes.
His intellectual brain was trapped in his, like paralyzed body kind of thing. And that speaks to, I mean, that was the first thing that came to me from your article, Sam.
Yes.
I worry about your ability to remove it. Like, once something starts interacting with your brain, will it become required? And then, like, if you were to remove it, would you essentially be removing parts of your memory, parts of yourself?
Or would you feel empty without it?
Yeah, and then could you get hacked? Like, I would hate to have porn pop-up ads in my brain. That would suck.
Just like Transcendence with Johnny Depp, it was ultimately a computer virus that finished him off, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's just part of a transhumanist dystopian, perfect dystopian future. I think we've covered a lot of dystopian stuff. Sam, how much did you have left? What else?
We're going to go through them. There's only a couple left. We're going to do them quick. 7, meltable biobatteries. One of the challenges for implantable tech has been how to get the power to devices tethered inside or floating around human bodies. You can't plug them in. You can't easily take them out and replace the battery. A team at Draper Laboratory in Cambridge, Mass. is working on a biodegradable battery. They generate power inside the body, transfer it wirelessly to where needed, and simply melt away. Another project is looking at how to use the body's own glucose to generate power for implantables. I like that idea better. It says, think of a potato battery of grammar school science, but smaller and much more advanced.
Sounds dope. I'm going to say not dystopian.
I like the second one better than the first one. I don't like
I don't want anything dissolving in my body. That doesn't sound good.
Smart dust. Perhaps the most startling of current implantable innovations is smart dust, arrays of full computers with antennas, each much smaller than a grain of sand, that can organize themselves inside the body into as-needed networks to power a whole range of complex internal processes. Imagine swarms of these nano devices called motes, attacking early cancer or bringing pain relief to a wound, or even storing critical personal information in a manner that is deeply encrypted and hard to ever be hacked. With smart dust, doctors will be able to act inside your body without opening you up. and information could be stored inside of you deeply encrypted until you're unlocked it from your very personal nano network. That would keep the government out.
That could be cool. Okay.
And last but not
nanotechnology, promising but a little scary.
Scary, yes. Yeah, because you're worried that you'll have to take their programs, and there won't be anybody to program them as independent entities. 9, last but not least, the verified self. Implantables hammer against social norms. They raise privacy issues and even point to a large potential dystopia. This technology could be used to ID everything. Already, the U.S. military has serious programs afoot to equip soldiers with implanted RFID chips, so keeping track of troops becomes automatic and worldwide. Many social critics believe the expansion of this kind of ID is inevitable. Well, you're going to end up getting your army hacked and everybody will know where your troops are. Some see this as positive, improved crime fighting, universal secure elections, a positive revolution in medical information and response, and never a lost child again. Others see it as a perfect Orwellian society, a big brother who, knowing all and seeing all, can control all. And some see it as a big step, fatal step toward the singularity, the moment when human turns the future over to software. So
yeah,
there you go.
it has good uses, but overall, it's like that shit has to be like we have to handle that with a fucking glove, you know? Make sure that we're not using it for shit like everybody being ID'd. Military, like, all right, I could see practical application, but nobody's putting a fucking chip in me. I'll be Bill Cooper before that shit happens.
Again, it would depend what disease I have. It would depend what the reason is. Are you giving me a chip to try to fight the cancer that's going to kill me? Well,
or
then,
like I'm going into like a fucking I'm a reporter and I'm going into
that.
Iraq and I might get kidnapped. Fuck yeah, track my ass. But
exactly.
take it out when I get back.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Is cancer dystopian?
Cancer? Well, cancer's hilarious.
Yes,
like.
Cancer is dystopian, and I'm going to. If you've listened to the last Fukushima update, the cancer rates since the bomb testings and since the nuclear accidents and the nuclear power plants having been opened are expected to be within the next 20 years, 8 in 10 of us will have cancer. Something absolutely unheard of before man-made radionucleide. That is radioactive elements that have never existed before, done by banks and power companies and the government. So yes, dystopian it would be.
Yeah.
I want to say, folks, speaking of dystopian, for anybody that's seen the Decline of the Western Civilization, the movie with all the music, Ministry is touring again. So I heard the music there. I had to go ahead and put that in there before we jump off. Now the music's gone. I thought you were closing.
No, it's fine, Sam. You're real happy about Ministry being back on tour, or what's going on?
Yeah, because Al Jorgensen has had an ongoing problem with heroin. He's mentioned it repeatedly. He has said that he was never, ever doing it again. He was only going to tour with Revolting Cocks, which was his side project. Over and over and over. No. Well, bam, they are. Mike Scatia, the guitarist, died. He released From Beer to Eternity, and it was all of Scatia's final works, and he said there was no reason to do it without him because he had been with Scatia for the last half of their career. Well, something, thank God, has clicked, and we are getting a Ministry tour again, and I am so unbelievably excited about that.
Somebody ran out of money. That's what that means.
Yeah, Sam, actually, Eminem, the famous white rapper. And what if you...
Why does it matter that he's white, D-Lake? Why can't you just say rapper?
Hey, because I got blocked by some black bitch. It's like, would you say the same thing you just said to me to Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis and Michael Brown? And I'm like, yeah, I would. If I had a time machine. Why are you coming out of left field with me with that shit and then block me on Facebook? Look, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, Eminem was just in the news yesterday because he's looking really gaunt and thin and fucked up in the face from a lot of years of drug abuse.
What do you know? A rapper does drugs.
I hadn't heard about it. I'm looking him up now, Eminem.
But you did see Beyonce rocking back and forth, looking like a cracked out crazy person, though, Sam. Didn't you see
She always looks like a cracked out crazy person to me. But yes, she's got the worst voice in music. Her and Smelly Roland. But yes, I agree. I did see that video, and she looked messed up.
Yeah, the only person that I know that rocks back and forth more than Beyonce is you, Sam.
Yeah, but at least I don't have the I am a monster stare on my face. She was like zoned out in Nowhereville. It was
yeah. To your credit, you rock back and forth, and she rocks side to side. So there's something wrong with that, right?
Yeah. Next time I see someone, I'm gonna throw a ton of toothpicks on the ground and ask how many he has. We might be able to make a lot of money.
All I've got to say is this. Whatever you do, as soon as you're done listening to this show, go online, listen to Beyonce's Drunken Love, and try not to think that she sounds like Tarzan.
Sam, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sit here and allow you to tell our viewers to watch anything Beyonce.
She sounds like Tarzan. Every time you hear it in the mall, you'll think, oh my God, Tarzan. For the rest of your life. The song will haunt you all holiday season. It's in every one of the trendy stores, yo. Every time you hear Drunken Love, think Tarzan.
Can I just say that I don't want to hear fucking Disney Channel musicians like Selena Gomez in fucking adult bars where alcohol served?
All the time. People request them non-stop. It's nauseating. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you?
Can I just say, it's been a great show today. A perfect. And thank you, Sam and Kyle, for bringing so much knowledge and information to today's subject of Perfect Dystopia. I believe we really covered it well. We really got into it. Again, a dystopia being the opposite of a utopia. Thank you, everyone, for watching today and sending us your questions that didn't really happen. Let me just play my super awesome recording again.
Dystopia in a world. A dystopia in a world. In some community or society that is in some important way undesirable or frightening. It is literally translated as not good,
bad place.
Synonymous with the opposite of utopia. Dystopia implies dehumanization, totalitarian government, environmental disaster, or other characteristics associated with a cataclysmic decline in society. Sonic greatest people!
Sonic greatest people!
Dystopia.
All right, Kyle, how did you feel about that final mix there?
It's pretty dope, if I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
I still wanted to hear the Clockwork Orange music. Give me some Clockwork Orange.
We didn't give enough fucking credit to Charlton Heston in this episode. Charlton Heston is kind of the king of dystopian movies. Shout out to Charlton Heston.
Any other actors that you want to give a shout out to for their roles in dystopian type movies? Kevin Costner at all?
Kevin Costner.
Postman.
The Postman.
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
A little more post-apocalyptic than dystopian, but it's a fine line.
What's the dude's name who was Basil in Austin Powers from Logan's Run? That dude?
Yeah.
He was Dees.
Yeah, he's Dees.
Logan 5. George Orwell.
Yeah, give a shout out to some authors there, Kyle.
George Orwell, fucking, what's his name? The dude who wrote The Time Machine. Just another dope book.
Oh yeah, and The Invisible Man, H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells, he's written a lot of really good ones. He wrote The Sleeper Awakes, I believe, which was great. Fahrenheit 451 was, it's hard to remember authors' names. That was, why can't I think of his name? Guy who wrote A Brave New World.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, all those. Well, authors, you rock. Keep writing dystopian novels.
Oh, no. I know who you mean. Yeah,
See?
I have Clockwork Orange.
It's like naming voice actors. It's really hard to name authors. Who wrote The Hunger Games? I don't know.
Not Anthony.
Anthony Gucciardi.
I thought a female wrote Hunger Games.
Anthony Burgess. It was Anthony Burgess. I was right. Anthony Burgess.
J.K. Rowling.
Dean Koontz. Good mention on Dean Koontz. The Dean Koontz one with all the monkeys, yes. Oh, I also want to say rest in peace, Dwayne Static.
Dwayne Static from Static X. I also own every single Stephen King movie adaptation on DVD.
Take Dreamcatcher and burn it. It was an awful book, and it was an awful movie. Most other ones I like.
Look, Sam, I got the whole collection. I still have Dreamcatcher.
Wait. Before music, do you have Maximum Overdrive?
I love Maximum Overdrive, yes.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you.
Of course, Kyle. I said I have the whole fucking collection. Come on.
Such a bad movie. I'm sorry.
Let's get one more Clockwork Orange soundtrack here to close out.
Yes, thank you.
You have both versions of The Shining? The TV?
Look up the one who wrote this. He who became a she did all the music for Clockwork Orange. My God, what a frightening woman this man made.
Oh yeah, just like the guy from The Matrix became a woman. The Wachowski brother.
Follow Jeffrey J on Twitter. Good comedian. Transgender.
I love transgenders.
Guys.
I think if you get fellatio from a guy that looks like a woman, it's okay. Oh, this is what you want right here, right? This is what you wanted?
Yes, I have seen this movie probably 100 times.
Yeah, no, this is the signature. This right here is the signature Clockwork Orange song, right?
Yes.
Look at the little baby.
I got that shit turned so far up.
Such a good movie.
This is the signature song, right?
A bit of the old ultraviolet.
A bit of the ultraviolence.
By the way, that book is impossible to read. Throwing that out there. Don't even try.
In this instance, it's better to watch the movie first, only, before I get hate mail here, only because once you understand the way they talk, you can then read the book and completely understand it. But
no, if you want to read the book, you have to get there's a dictionary that you can buy with the book that tells you what they're saying. I actually know all their slang and where it comes from. Like, a lot of it was supposed to take place in a world where the Soviet system didn't lose during the Cold War. It just meshed with us, which obviously has happened. But that's where a lot of that Russian stuff comes from. So when he's like, our little Gabrit through the door was not, shall we say, satisfactory. Gabriting is a variation of a real Russian word. So I mean, we need to do a part 2 of this episode because we got to wrap this up. We're almost at 2 hours.
Oh yes.
We need to part 2 of this bitch.
A part 2 right before Christmas. Let's do it. Dystopian Christmas. Let's do it.
Well, okay, great. Yeah. So, great. So, last week, Don from Save America's Liberty said that he didn't like our style on the show. I mean, maybe he likes the style of this show a little bit more. We don't know. Looks like we have no more viewers, so we can just end this however the hell we damn well please. I mean, I know in recent weeks some people have been saying, I would repost your show, but you guys dropped too many F-bombs.
Fuck you.
You know, fuck those people that would say such a damn thing. They should burn in hell for eternity. Anyways, no. Everyone check out Metropolis, Idiocracy, Surrogates, Minority Report, Blade Runner, Hunger Games, Fahrenheit 451, Gattaca, and
Ray Bradbury, that's his name. Sorry.
Right.
Stranger in a strange
Ray
land,
Bradbury. Ray Bradbury, also of Star Trek fame. Soylent Green, Logan's Run. I mean, anything that Harrison Ford, Kevin Costner, or Tom Cruise has been in. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you, but
Well, Top Gun.
Will Smith. It's all a very bleak dystopian future. Hey guys, look at the time. I think Kyle's right. I think we're pushing like a 2-hour mark. That's just crazy, insane, and ridiculous. But
Good night, everyone.
that's just to demonstrate in a perfect dystopian world. It's always said on my screen share. These guys don't get any other time. I like to dehumanize them as humans in that way, and have economic superiority over them, so that I will live above ground, they will live below ground. They will be in chains and slavery while I go golfing once more like Barack Obama. And I live in a big fancy house. They live in shacks. I'm a winner. They're losers. I'm the only one wearing sunglasses today because I am elite. They are in the minority. You know, they're in the minority again. I don't know what else to tell you. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's super special, A Perfect Dystopia. The media speaks live. And like these guys were saying, I mean, I can't wholeheartedly agree with them since I got elected and they didn't. But is that we should do another show like this in the near future, in the near dystopian future, where you will be in chains and live your life
Dystopian Christmas.
in a world.
Dystopia. In a world, a dystopia is in some community or society that is in some important way undesirable.
That's right. All right, everybody, have a great day. Peace out. Do you like for Prez? Kyle Phillips?
TheMediaSpeaks.com. Just go to TheMediaSpeaks.com, dummy. Do it. Now.
Sam IBDeganji?
The correct views at hotmail.com.
Hotmail, what?
All right, great. Everyone send him $100 right now, and he will promote whatever you want him to promote for the next full year. No joke. Everybody have a great day. Go to the Arcadia Grill. Right, Sam?
Delicious food. If you're anywhere near Canton, Ohio.
Hell yeah.
And the Seacrest Motel. Is that right?
They are closed until May.
Oh, the Cedar Park thing is over because winter, right?
Yeah, see, D-Lake's like, man, they closing amusement parks in Ohio. That's so messed up. Yeah, we are now in the land of ice and snow. No amusement park till the very, very end of April.
Yeah, I think Six Flags is open almost year-round. I live out here in the warmer climate, and that's good for me because...
well, enjoy your homeless people, okay?
Well,
Yeah.
for Christmas, D-Lake, just drive
Enjoy
out.
enjoy your
Drive
Ebola.
us out to California, and we'll ride the roller coasters, and it'll be perfect.
All right. That sounds pretty good. D-Lake for Prez, Kyle Phillips and Megan, Sam and Serenity, all out here at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I'll bring a hot chick. Don't worry about that. And I think it'll be great. So
D-Lake will be picking us up in a flying car. Yeah.
I live out here in hot flying car San Diego, so it's too bad for you guys that live in the cold climate where you're more likely to catch Ebola.
It's true.
So I feel real bad for you, son.
Well, you gotta deal with hipsters.
No
so,
problem. All right, everybody, have a great day.
Watch the Halloween show.
TheMediaSpeaks.com.
I watched it, Sam.
I was telling everybody else, but yes, I'm glad you watched it.
I encourage everyone else to watch it. It's pretty funny.
Watch the correct views.
Halloween.
Do it.
Everyone go to Anthony Court's page
Yes.
Constant injustice.
because he should have been on today's show. What the?
You will find some vintage reports.
Next time we do a perfect dystopia show, we need Anthony Court on the show for his thoughts and opinions. Don't you guys think?
I agree.
All right, everybody have a great day. D-Lake for Perez, Kyle Phillips, Sam IBDeganji, and Anthony Court. TheMediaSpeaks.com.